Hello, and welcome back to our CSCI 352 and digital forensic. And today we'll move on to have a lecture, and the lecture will be our called email forensic. Okay, and of course, coming we have our lab, and we'll do something like similar to like extract some data from the email. And of course, like we did learn the regular expression that we're going to use. And because since after the week 8 will be spring break, so we have no class, and also so that's why we have some extra time. So I will release the assignment so you can have extra time to work on it, and then just like have like recap of like your knowledge. So I will post. You can treat it as a quiz or as a midterm, so it won't pretty long. So they're all mainly multiple choice. So I will post it, and then during the lab I post. Then I will talk about it one more time. Okay, so you will have enough time. So it will be online or multiple choice, and you have a week to complete it. So that means after the spring break, so you have a week like to do the midterm. So we have no class again. Okay. So just I let you know earlier, but I will give you the notice later. Okay. So right now we'll move on. We are showing different type, like we have different type of digital for the email forensics we're doing. So all this related to the client side and server, and we will look at those like email headers. Okay, so when we I'm sending out, how can we trace the email, and also how can we examine the server? Okay, email server, and those like law related to the email investigation. Okay, that's what we're going to learn, and the mechanism how the email work, right? So sender, so they use a mail client to send a message. So I'll type it. So the message will go to multiple mail servers. So if you look at the mail server like MX123 like this, and each mail server they will send a message like closer to its destination. Okay. So if you know the hierarchy, the structure, so sometimes we define several mail server. Okay, and then the destination mail server store the message, they save it, and the receiver, that means the will try to use the mail client again to retrieve the message from the mail server. So nowadays we have plenty of like, no, I cannot say like plenty, but like popular, maybe let's say Google, Hotmail, Outlook, or if you're using Apple, maybe the Apple Mail. So all these like, and of course there's some other companies providing email service. Okay, so we put that out. And then, so here's the idea. So from the sender, so we're sending a email. So the message goes out to email server, goes to all the internet. So in the recipient mail server, the final destination received it. So the recipient will be able to check the email. Okay. And what an email? So they review and review. So for the email message, so related to the investigation, so the content may be the address, say from who to who. Okay, so those like sender and recipient the information, so we will be related, then we put into investigate, and then also those like information about those that we copy on the email, also maybe the content. Okay, and also maybe of course the attachment, all these things, and the internet protocol, the IP address, like from which we say we have a client with mail server, so from which client to destination, so we say all the IP addresses. Okay, and then also including the date and time information. So you know the in the email conversation, like when did you send out the message, and then so we can like trace like in your conversation like going backward, and then the user information, those that attachments, they also include the password, also the application logs, so they will like show the evidence of the spoofing. So all this for the email. Okay, and possible like email protocol we're using is the SMTP, pretty popular. So we're using simple mail transfer protocol. Okay, this protocol used to just send the email from the client to the mail server, and then say like even between the servers. Typically they operate on the port 25. But nowadays we try to make it more secure, so we have the SMTPS secure, so they will operate on the port by 465. Okay, so if we look at the configuration, if you need to connect by yourself or you need setup, so you will see if you're using Google or using the Outlook. Okay, maybe we put a Hotmail, so other service provider, so they will tell you, okay, which port you are going to use. Okay, and then the post office protocol. Okay, version 3 POP3 port 3. So it's used for receive email, and pretty common the port is using on 110 or the secure one. So it's 995. So most of them we are using the 995 nowadays. So we can like design it's like designed to like delete the email on the server. So as soon as the user download the email, so they're not keeping it. And then also Internet Message Access Protocol, IMAP. So it's like this one also is used to receive email and operates on the port 143. So for this one, user can view the email on the server, and then they can decide, okay, whether they if they download the email. Okay, so that kind of like emails is like retains on the server. So that's like the differences between them. So as we say, like if we send it out, so we have the SMTP. Okay, sending it from the user, from the client side. Okay, so to the server, to the node, and then to the internet. So like goes out this side and then comes in. So we go to the server, so SMTP. And if you want to read it, receive it, we can use the POP3 or IMAP. Okay, to receive it. Okay, and the difference is like if you're using POP3, then you can like after download it, then the server will remove it. But if you're using IMAP, then you can choose if you want to keep it or delete it. Okay, and nowadays pretty a lot the faking emails, so including the spoofing and almost like remailing, also they pretend there's some the emails. So it's a really common. Okay, so for spoofing, they will try to make an email message appear to come from someone or someplace like other than the real sender or location. Okay, so if the first machine to receive the spoof message record the machine real IP address, and those header like email header, they will contain both the fake IP and the real IP address. Okay, and about the anonymous remaining, so will be like kind of like subscribe, like send an email message to an anonymous. Okay, and then it can be some email server, so it can like scrape and identify information from the message. So before they just like forward it with the anonymous like mailing computer IP address. That's how it works. So if we need to find out who sent the email, so we need to examine it. Okay, we need to check the logs like maintained by the emailer or sometimes anonymous like company like this, and then we are able to check. Okay, and read an email, so they will actually appears like through some mails like in a from like trusted source. So but the message content can be like suspicious. Okay, so sometimes the content may contain some URL, so they point to malicious site, so also it's possible. And how it looks like, so maybe how can we like fake an email? So how we can use some free public Wi-Fi. So most of people go to a coffee shop, okay, airport, okay, or like anywhere you can access a free Wi-Fi, and then we can spoof the IP address and then the MAC address. So after we spoof the IP address and MAC address, next we will just like prepare the email content, then we can send it through some anonymous email account. Okay, so we can like send a fake email. In those like header, like when you're learning programming, you know like header is like no matter the package, email, like even well, application, anything contain header. So all these, like for this email message components, the header will be including address, addressing information, those like source and destination, and the body will be the contents of the message. Of course, we sometimes will attach some documents, files, so those attachments will be some external data they travel along with each message. So all this will be the components. So the header will be right here, like to from what's the subject. So you CC to somebody BCC, and you maybe like include your attachment, okay? And then we have the body content. So all this will be from the email. So here's all the components. And for the standard of our email, so we have called the RFC 2822. So it's the standard email format. So it's the including the headers. So all the email programs use the same email format. So regardless of the operating system, okay. So no matter whether the email from Outlook, Windows, all these can be read by recipient. Like maybe if you're using Hotmail on the Android phone or sending from the Apple MacBook or iPad or like tablet to your iPhone. So all this will be like have standard. Okay. So those the header will keep the record of the message, the journey network or the mail server. So all this you will know. And each server will add information to the header. Okay. So because you see the screenshot right here as some like basic, but of course, like when you sending from the mail server, one maybe several, so each of them will be added information. Okay, and each network device, they will have their own internet protocol address. So they have their own IP address. Then we can identify the device, and also we can resolve to a location address. That's how it works. So here will be the RFC like 2822. So this specification. So for the message, they must include from. So they need to know the email address. Okay. So maybe the name of sender. It can be optional. So but at least the email address. And then the date field. So will be the local time, date when the message was written. Okay. So here will be the basic word include in the header. And then after must, then what should they include? Maybe the message ID field. Of course, this one will be automatically generated. Okay. Also, in reply to. Okay. So this one will be like the message ID of the message that is reply to. So here will be they should include. Okay. Oh, but you don't have to type it. Okay. And then of course we have more fields. So you should be like pretty familiar with all these like tool, and then what's your subject CCB, CC content type, what is the receive proceedings, and then references like reply to or sender. So all this. And if we need to find the header, maybe like when we check, so you can like go to maybe you use your Outlook or your mail. So let's see, because for the different systems. So here is one of the example. I put it like Outlook like 2010. So I have to go to the property, and then you can from the property you see like the internet header. So receive from, so they have a message ID, and then what's the version, content transfer, and encoding, and then the content type, all this. Okay. And as we're trying to check, and of course we're going to go down more. You can see maybe the receive the SPF, and then design permit, and then with the XYML, IHG. So there was some hashing, encryption content, and or if using Yahoo, if you know like Yahoo. So when you choose like go to Yahoo, also we can choose the different like message encoding, and it will come to the same. Okay, so from where, and then of course like to message ID, subject, content type. So right here you see this is what we call a standard. And if you go use the Gmail, and if you use Gmail, you check the original. So original, we will able to obtain all these similar content. But because it's a standard, so you see like we have different way to find it. But of course, the basic content, all these like the header. Okay. So there's one example like in Hotmail. So we can go to your inbox, Okay, but of course later what we do we actually, but if you're interested, then you can check it. And like even Apple, and if you're Apple user, so if you want to check, so just go to view menu and send the message, and then long header, so then you will able to check your long header. Of course maybe they are too old, then we can check later. And mainly we will check what's included in the email files. In the email file, including for Outlook will be called a PST, or offline Outlook storage OST, or Outlook Express. They were in the file like MBX or DBX. And then the dollar will be MBX, same, or EMI. So they're common to some like several email clients. So we have different type of files. Also the power beans like email XML. So it's one you can use like for the, it's like exclusively for the email for forensic. Okay. And it can work like more like complete the forensic suite. Okay, so maybe some like forensic toolkit or case like this. So can be the evidence like goodbye the case like this. So right here, so here's an example. We can like open the application, so you can like give a case and what we're going to do. So give a description and next. So after we put the some information like who investigated and then from which company contact. Okay, after you're able, then you can choose like which database. Okay, let's say maybe auto detect, or if you know specific using the Outlook. Okay, maybe some other email. So of course, like if you choose that by default, then order any like file types like possible. So if you know the PSD, DBX, like all this. And then for the chasing the email, okay, so we need to check like at each point like through like which an email pass and work, so step by step back to originating the computer. So it's trace back. So you, if you remember the graph like from SMTP like going okay from the sender to the receiver, right? So how can we trace back from the receiver and trace back to the sender? So that's what we need to. And when we need to examine the mail servers, so we need to like search through like the email. So we think by the server, okay. Because if we remember sending through it, so we have different way let's start from like POP3 or INAP, okay, all this. So many servers they have a retention policy. Of course, like, they have different way. So for this, like we have different laws. So I'm not going to go through it, but you can like check. So we're under different protection of that for the emails. And so far pretty clear about the email forensic. Okay. And including, so you need to know the basic structure architecture of the email. Okay, possible what's the protocol. So including the from the clients sending to the server. So another key point is the email header. So okay, so the headers included in the email, so we need to check. And how can we do the tracing? So for tracing, sometimes we need to get authorization under the law, and then maybe from the email server, because sometimes it's really hard because we don't have a right, like as a student or in education really hard, but maybe in for doing investigation you need to like looking for some, okay, maybe from the sender, from receiver, see when you trace back, so you need to know, okay, which service provider, which email are you using, so who owns those like email server, so we need to like trace back. That's how it looks like. And for those like will be the email for like examination, so all those, so we need to check those like files, so it will be the same. Actually the format is the same, so in all the server, so we need to have a like retention policy. Then how can we retain those deleted email, so we can check. Okay, so after we able to by every mail server, so after we take an email, so we can get the header, so we can trace back. Okay, so what is the previous mail server like send an email with this. And then there's some law related to an email investigation right here. So we say a Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, or Electronic Communication Privacy Act like this. So we don't have to really go through all the details. You don't have to memorize all this law, but you just need to know we do have the under the law, like for the specific for the email. Okay, and that's it for the lecture part. So for the next week, week 8 lab, so we'll do something related to the email, and then let you enjoy your spring break, and then you can prepare for your assignment. Also the quiz, or something I just call it, is a midterm. So the topic we cover from our week 1 to actually will be more like from week 2. Okay, and will be all multiple choice, and we have the time limit. Like if I time it for the as a midterm, then I do have a time limit, but pretty sure you have a sufficient time to complete it. Okay, so and that's it for the lecture. Thank you.